right. Finally, here we are, the video we've all been waiting for. The one with the grand reveal when the braces are off. Pretty excited about that. That, my friends, is the good news. Let me tell you about everything else. So I got up the morning of my appointment to have the braces removed, which coincidentally was the day before Halloween. So October 30th was the big day. And if you remember, I got them on October 18th, 2 years before. So we went over 2 years. Ended up being, 2 years and 2 weeks, whatever the math works out to. 18, 30, 12, just under 2 weeks. This appointment did not go exactly as planned in so many ways. As you all know, it has been a long wait to get to this point. I've been through a lot. I started off this journey by explaining to you the anxiety that I have with having work done in my mouth and the history, how I grew up, not realizing I had a very high tolerance to Novocaine products, not realizing that I wasn't supposed to be able to feel every bit of horrible, painful thing they were doing to me. I also had no enamel on my baby teeth, which we now know was from celiac, which wasn't even on the radar back then. We just chalked it up to my being an Irish twin and the babies are too close together. And so we had a lot of issues as a child here. And I spent a lot of my adult life trying to recover from that. And that's what this journey was about. And so today we have reached a grand milestone in that journey where I have finally gotten the braces I could never afford during my childhood. And I'm probably better off having waited in some respects. Now I know, because my bite was so far off because of the clenching that's happened over the past decade or so, and nighttime grinding and just different things that have been going on that may have happened anyways, even if I had fixed my teeth as a child. So, as soon as I came in the door, I did have one orthodontist tell me, I don't think I can do what you need. Don't waste your money. Like, literally. And I almost gave up. And then I found my doctor, who I like and respect very much, and his attitude was, you are a bit of a high-risk patient, but I think we can do what needs to be done. And so here we are, 2 years later. The estimate from the beginning was 18 to 20 months, which I kept forgetting and confusing, but it was 18 to 20 months. When we took them off, it ended up being 24 months and 12 days, so a little longer than projected, but I think in the back of my mind, I always knew it would end up being a little bit longer. It was just a matter of how much. And as you've seen in the past few videos, that phrase 3 more weeks got thrown around a lot. And it was very frustrating. But we did finally get there. We did finally get to the big day. We finally saw enough movement up here. We finally closed those last couple of spaces. Things are not perfect. They're never going to be. I knew that going in, but they are way better than they were. They are much, much improved, and they are as close to perfect as my teeth are probably ever going to get. Well, at least from the braces. So I got up that morning, and it was the day before Halloween, and I was like, a little bit of thought about how I'm going to eat candy the next day, but we'll stick to the soft chocolate. I'm like, it'll be fine. I just wanted it done. I was very excited. I didn't tell anyone when they were coming off. Once it got booked, I was like, we'll just kind of surprise everybody. And I did expect to see a good part of the neighborhood on Halloween, because we have a little tradition where we go up to the barn at the top of our neighborhood that they decorate for the kids, and we take a group photo every year. And so I knew it would be dark and black lights, but I would see some of them, so I was like, well, we'll see who notices. Anyways, the removal process is the same as the going on appointment. It's always an earlier appointment because it takes longer. So I had to get up a little early, but I was excited for what I was doing, so it wasn't the end of the world. All right, guys, this is it. We are on our way to the orthodontist to have the braces removed. I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I still do not enjoy having this much work done that's going to take this long, even when it's something I really want and it's good. But I am excited for this to happen, and if, I have to go through anything this long, I'm glad that it's getting the braces off, so woohoo. Yeah. My sinuses, my allergies been bothering me a little, so hopefully the postnasal drip won't drive me crazy while I'm laying down for 2 hours. But other than that, I'm just excited to get it done. So, see you soon. I got to my appointment and there were like no cars in the parking lot. And so I assumed that there was very few people there. I know that the doctors and nurses tend to, or his staff tend to park on the other side. There's a lot on the other side. There's only an employee door over there, so we don't use that lot. Anyway, so I knew the employees were there, but no other clients at the moment, so that was nice. The girl came out and called for me, and she brought me in and sat me down, and she explained that she was going to take the braces off. She was going to do the removal, and then the doctor was going to come in and clean the teeth. It's funny because I pictured it in my head the other way around, that the doctor would be the one to remove the apparatus cemented to the teeth. I assumed that one of the assistants would come in and do the cleaning and polishing of the residue and all that kind of stuff. But as it turns out, it was the other way around. But that was not the most surprising part. Not even close. So as she's like, okay, there was one that was on there really good and she couldn't get it. She's like, all right, I'm going to get the doctor for that. She leaves, comes back. In comes Dr. I forget what his name is, because I've never seen him. I haven't seen him once. He hasn't looked in my mouth. I have not sat in his chair. The one time they were going to book me with him, and I do actually remember his name, I just don't want to say it. I'm going to call him out on air, but the one time that they tried to book me with him instead of my doctor, at first I didn't even know there was another doctor that was ever there. I'd never even seen the other doctor on the premises when I'd been in. And it was probably a year and a half before someone mentioned it. Oh, can I put her in with Dr. So-and-so? And he was like, no, Laurie only sees me. And he said that to them, Laurie only sees me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's why I didn't know or realize there was another doctor that works with him. So I get there and I'm going through all this and I'm so excited, and out walks the other doctor that I've never seen, that I've never had one appointment with. And he's like, oh, are you excited? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, are you doing it? And he's like, yep, so we'll be taking him off today and we'll do this and we'll do that. And that was the extent of the explanation for that circumstance, which was none. No explanation whatsoever about the fact that the man I've been working with for 2 years to get to this point is not there for the grand finale. Now, please tell me in the comments if you think that's weird. Am I crazy? Am I being overly sensitive? Am I overthinking this? Is that weird? Tell me, please tell me. Because I was dumbfounded by that. I was actually kind of speechless. I couldn't believe that not only was he not there with me to get me through the biggest last step, but was he not curious? Was he not excited for the end result after 2 years of working on this mouth? Like, it was just bizarre to me. So that was the first surprise. And I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed. But again, you think someone would have said, oh, you know, your doctor's very sorry you couldn't be here, this happened, but you're in good hands and he's gonna help you instead. And I would have been like, oh, all right, well, that's disappointing, but there you go. But nothing, there was nothing. Okay, so like I said, that was surprise number one. Surprise number two, after, all right, well, let me skip. Let me not skip to surprise number two. Let me give you some detail about the removal first. Then we'll get to surprise number two. So, by the way, guys, if you do drink coffee from a straw, one thing to be aware of is the temperature. You won't feel it hitting your lips, so if it's really, really hot, it'll shoot straight into your throat. Always be careful of the temperature of the beverage you're drinking through a straw. Here's my little PSA. All right, so she did snap all the wires off and, you know, laid them out on the table, and it was so surreal just sitting there with an empty mouth after 2 years for the first moment. And then the doctor came in with the Dremel, whatever it is, the drill that they use. Feels like a Dremel. To basically grind down all of the cement, glue, whatever you call it, the adhesive between the brackets that's left on the teeth. And that started off okay. Although I will say, it brought me back to flashbacks of the one assistant who has a habit of using her fingernails braced against my gums as an anchor while she works, and it's uncomfortable. So he started off doing that. He started off kind of using his fingernails were hitting my gums a little bit in a way that was not painful, but not comfortable. And I'm like, okay, whatever, do what you need to do. He was moving pretty quickly from tooth to tooth, so I thought, whatever. He gets to this side and he's doing the back teeth. And I'm gonna just tell it like it is. I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I've been honest with you about this stuff from the beginning, and my goal's never been to go on here publicly and talk down about anyone, just to give you my real experience. And sometimes it's a little less pleasant, so I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That guy got his hand in my mouth deeper than I think anyone ever has before in my entire life. I think he was up to the freaking wrist at one point. He was like, and then he would, and re-up. He pulled my cheek harder than anyone working in my mouth has ever done. It was bizarre. And at that point, like, I made a noise. I was like, it was almost like it was a joke at that point. Like, is he serious? I was like, ugh. And he's like, you're doing great. Am I? Are you? So not only was I surprised by the fact that he was there, the procedure with him was not very pleasant. Now again, that was one tooth and one section where he was really going at it. And I know my back teeth are hard to reach, and they're very short and they're very up close in the gums, so I get it. But he was not gentle about it. Like, it was weird. Anyways, thankfully, his part was the quickest. That was probably about a half hour of the appointment, maybe 20 minutes of him grinding all of the stuff off. They rinsed a couple times, and then he was like, okay, and he was out. And I'm pretty sure I saw him like grab his coat and go home after that. So I think I was the only reason he was even there. Me and a couple of the staff members, the one who took the braces off and another one that I've seen before, they were just working on the retainers. So then she came in and made the molds, and they do them one at a time. They have the little metal tray, and they fill it with the pink goop, and they put it all the way back and close your mouth, and then it dries, and you pull it off. There's like a suction because it turns into like a rubber form. And they do the top, and then they did the bottom, and she was commenting on how, oh, all my molds have come out good today so far. And I was like, don't say that, you're gonna jinx yourself. But so they did the molds for the retainers, and I'm like, and I'll leave with those today. And she's like, yep, we'll get those all done, while we're doing that. She'll be working on those. And I tried them originally, and they were a little sharp in a couple of places, and they took them out and they ground them down a little bit more, and then I tried them and I'm like, okay. And the bottom one I had trouble getting in. Top one popped right in, the bottom one, because obviously they want to know that you can put them in and out. They want to see you do it before you leave. The bottom one, my back tooth here is kind of tilted this way, so I have to like turn it and put that one on, and then the rest will go on. But if I put the front on, that back tooth won't go on. So a couple of times I literally could not get it on. And I've never had issues with anything when they started with the elastics. All right, let me see you do it. And I was like, bip, bop, boop. It was pretty easy. I'm pretty dexterous. Dexterous? I can't talk today. I have pretty good dexterity. Anyways, I couldn't get that one on first couple of times, and then they literally like, take her back into the chair, and then she's like, just show me, you gotta twist it and do it that way. And I was like, okay, got it. Then she hands me the paper. Surprise number 2. So the doctor wants you to wear these continuously for the next 2 months. What? I'm sorry, what? You mean like 24/7, like never take them off? Yes, for the first couple of months it's really important, especially because I have the pharyngium that comes down really low between my front teeth, which is why I've always had a gap there. She's like, especially with that pharyngium so low, that space is going to want to widen right back up, and initially it's important that we keep them in place, and I'm like, nobody has said this to me. I've been coming here for months, and people planning to get the removal, and people keep saying 3 more weeks, 3 more weeks, 3 more weeks, but nobody once has said, well, soon you'll be out of the braces, but you'll be into the retainers, and then you'll be doing that for a while, and nothing. I do need to, and I meant to do this before I filmed this, I should go get it. I may pause and come back, but I wanted to look up the original paperwork that they gave me and see if it says anywhere in there that when I'm done, I need to wear retainers for a few months, 24/7. Because I don't believe this has ever come up. So, and now again, I'm annoyed again, and I'm annoyed at her. She's the only one there, She's an assistant. She's not making these decisions. It's already written on a paper. She's just doing what she's been told. So there's no point in going back and forth with her on this. But I did say numerous times, like, why has nobody mentioned this before? Nobody has said a word about this to me. I was not mentally prepared to go out of braces and into Invisaligners, essentially, which is where we are right now. I don't know if you can tell. I am still adjusting slightly to talking with these in my mouth now, because I'm wearing them 24/7. Yeah. Not being mentally prepared for that. Thinking I was getting the braces off, walking out of there with clean, free teeth, with clean teeth, nothing on them, and going about my life. That was what I went in there thinking. And then being told, well, no, you're going to wear your retainers all day, all night, every day for at least 2 months. And in 2 months, you're going to come back, and then we'll see from there how much longer he wants you to wear them. Yeah. Apparently, that is the portion of the program that comes after the braces come off. Why did nobody tell me this? Now, again, I want to go back and check my literature, because there is a very slim chance that 2 years ago, of course, that's the husband, somebody had said, and then this and this for a little while, and it just like went in one ear and out the other, because it was so far away. All right, we're back. Since the phone rang and I had to get up anyways, I figured I would take a moment and check. And it does not, in fact, say that in my paperwork. It says, I'm going to cover the identifying features, but top and bottom braces, possible elastics, 18 to 20 months of treatment, up and down retainers, lifetime commitment. Now, they told me that. We talked about that. You'll wear your retainers at night. And this is something that was different now from when I was a kid and people were wearing braces. I think it used to be like, oh, you got to wear them for a while, whatever. Now they're like, no, you have to wear them for the rest of your life. Every night for the rest of your life. Whenever you stop, they'll shift. I'm like, okay, so at no point did they stay where they are or settle or become permanent again, like at all. Anyways. But that I remember. I remember them saying that you will have to wear your retainers at night for the rest of your life. And that was already more overwhelming to me than I was expecting. Never in the beginning did they say, you will, or there is a chance that you will need to wear your retainers 24 hours around the clock for a period of time when your braces come off. That never came up. No one ever felt the need to mention that to me. Now, I don't know if that was a spur of the moment decision on his part because of my particular case, because of, how long it took us to get where he wanted to be. Maybe he thought he still needed the rigidity of retainers for a while, but he didn't want to tell me that I had to keep the braces on anymore. Maybe he just didn't want to say 3 more weeks again. I don't know because he wasn't there to discuss it with me. He wasn't there to answer questions. He wasn't there. He just wasn't there. So that was disappointing to me. So now I'm at the point where I had to adjust to not having braces on my teeth anymore, which was lovely. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't a super major transition from having the braces to not having them. I was really starting to notice wrinkling around my upper lip when I was sucking just in my mouth, and like the edge where the braces was making my lips collapse in the middle there a little bit with the vacuum action that would happen. And I was starting to think to myself, that the sooner my lip can lay flat again, the better, because I'm in my 50s and we don't need to create wrinkles. So it felt good to have them off, and I don't have those painful places in my mouth. The spoke over here is no longer sticking in my tongue, which is wonderful, and I have no more spikes up here sticking in my lip, which is wonderful. But I got used to that being gone very quickly. It was lovely. But then I had to make a whole new adjustment to wearing retainers. It's literally like I've gone from having traditional metal braces to having Invisalign. This is the life of somebody with Invisalign. You wear them all day. You only take them out to eat or to brush. You sleep in them. I have to take them out and brush them a couple times a day. Brushing my teeth way more than I ever normally do, I'm happy to say, I guess, because every time they come in or out, I've got to clean them. I've got to clean my teeth before I put them back in. Braces, obviously, I was cleaning my teeth a lot, but there's no taking the braces out and putting them back in. If there's food in there, you'll figure it out later. You'll clean it out next time you brush your teeth, whatever. Just like if there's food in your teeth, you may realize it next time you brush your teeth and not until then. But with the retainers, it's like you want to make sure that you're not shoving a cover over things in your teeth. So I'm just more aware of the fact that I need to make sure that they're clean before I'm putting the retainers on them. So that's happening a lot. The first day, I was very uncomfortable. By the time I left the office, I noticed that when I was talking, the soft part of my tongue was hitting the bottom of the retainer. The retainer was going almost all the way under my tongue. And I was Googling it, and they're like, no, that's not normal. It shouldn't go into your tongue. And when you take it out and look at it, there's a space of plastic beyond where my teeth were. It didn't seem as big as it felt in my mouth, but it was definitely going under my tongue, and the soft part of my tongue underneath when my tongue was moving was catching on it. So it was a little painful the first day whenever that would happen. But not only that, like when you close your mouth and you create that suction and you swallow, my tongue would move back and forth in my mouth, and it would hit that thing every time. And so after the first night I woke up, and the first time I moved my tongue, it was so incredibly sore because it had gotten rubbed sore the day before, and then now every time it touched that spot, it was so painful. So the bottom retainer came out. I was like, well, that's not going to work. I kept the top one in. I could not wear the bottom retainer for the entire second or third day. I called them on the second day and I was like, we gotta fix this. And they got me in the next day, and it was the same girl again, who worked on me, but not the one who did my retainers. And she said, well, everybody does things their own way, and that particular person likes more room under the tongue. She thinks it helps the palate hold the palate better. And I'm like, well, that'd be fine if it wasn't cutting my tongue apart, but it is. So as is, I can't wear it. So she's like, yeah, I don't actually like to do it that way myself. So she went in and ground out that whole bottom part, and it was a zillion times better. So while I was there, I was like, you know what, the top of the inside of the top one's a little sharp. You might as well do that while we're here. And so again, it was just her in the office. She's like, yeah, I'm here alone today. There's certain things I can do on my own, but I can do that. So she had me come in and she fixed it. And she was super nice. She was the best part of my whole removal experience, between the day that she did most of the work and the day that she fixed my retainers a couple days later. She was great. So she did fix them, and then I could wear it again, which was good. It was only a tiny bit tight when I first put it in, but they're not tight at all. Basically what she was saying is, you know, once you've gotten past this initial phase and you're just wearing them at night, and then after like a year or so, you can wear them like 4 or 5 nights a week and skip a night or two here or there. What she said was like, you'll know if you're not wearing them enough because when you put them in, they'll be tight. And if it's really tight when you're putting them in, you need to wear them more. You know, things are starting to shift, obviously. So, I mean, mine are super loose. They pop in and out easily right now. So I don't know how long they would need to be out in order for me to feel that. Not going to find out anytime soon either. All right, I'm kind of just rambling now, but so yeah, so that was how the appointment went. I ended up not seeing my doctor. I don't know why. Didn't love the guy I did see. The assistant was wonderful as usual. I was surprised by the fact that I am now wearing basically Invisalign or retainers 24/7 for at least the next 2 months, which I didn't know I was going to have to do. But we're coping. The braces are off. The teeth look pretty good. There's definitely some staining. I did just order a whitening kit. I've been looking around at the different options, but we do need to do some whitening. I did also see the dentist 5 days after the braces came off, and initially I wasn't sure I was gonna need a dental appointment right after the braces came off, because I don't know, I had in my head, I knew they were gonna do a cleaning of the residue of glue and whatnot. I wasn't sure how far that cleaning would go. I didn't know if that was like a full dental cleaning that they would do, and apparently it was not. So part of me was thinking, well, they're going to get them all perfect and clean and shiny. Why do I need to go to the dentist in 5 days? But they're just taking off the stuff from the braces. They're not cleaning plaque or any of that. So you know, because I did not know. And I don't know why I didn't ask. I have to tell you a little side story. When I was in there, one of the last times when I got my 3 more weeks, there was a young girl in there, and she was, I'm going to say like 11, 12 at the most. She may have been younger. And she asked so many questions, and it did border on tedious, the things that she asked, but she asked every question in her head, tedious or not. Every question that she had, everything that she didn't know about, she asked. And I can't tell you how many times I've sat there and just waited for them to explain things to me, or waited for them to tell me what we were doing next and why. I just kind of show up and be like, okay, explain to me what's happening. And then they're like, okay, bye. And I don't know, I guess, I don't know. I think it's part of when, we teach people not to be obnoxious and not to be tedious and not to be a pain in the ass. But there were a lot of things I didn't know the answer to, and I didn't ask. I just kind of waited to find out. And you found out with me along the way a lot of the time. But I don't know, that struck me. it struck me that that young girl was much better than I am as an adult at asking questions and getting them answered. And I hope that she stays that way. Anyways, I never did ask what that cleaning would be like. I just had in my head a vague notion. So I had checked with them and they're like, no, you should be good by then. And I think they just meant like sore wise, like, will I want anyone in my mouth a few days later? Which was another thing I wanted to know. Like, what shape are my teeth going to be? Are they going to be super loose, like people had said? Like, am I going to want anyone in there cleaning when they're loose and feel weird? But she's like, no, you should be fine. And it was fine. It was not a super long or extensive cleaning either, which I kind of thought it might be longer than usual. I thought it might be more thorough than usual because, you know, but I think I've been doing a pretty good job of keeping them clean, a fairly good job of keeping them clean. So happy to say it was actually a shorter cleaning than normal. It wasn't my normal hygienist either. I had changed my appointment because I didn't want to go in again until the braces were off, so I had to bump it back. So I just saw someone different this time, but she did a really good job. Everything looked great, felt great. I wasn't in pain. She didn't hurt me at all. She was wonderful. So there will be more work to be done. As you know, the plan from here is to go with implants. And in theory, I need 3, 2 here and 1 here. Most of my spaces you can't see, and when I smile, it's like right kind of at that edge. And again, I wasn't horribly upset about it until that front tooth broke, and then it made that like a gap, and it was more visible, and that was kind of what kicked this whole thing off, where I was like, I really need to replace that tooth. I can tell you with 99% certainty that one implant is going in. I still have another tooth that he's been wanting to put a crown on for probably 15 years, and I just haven't had thousands of dollars to do it, and I still don't. But that one absolutely has to be done. So 1 crown, 1 implant minimum. And this space down here, not the end of the world. I have an extra tooth over here to chew with now. It'd be wonderful to fill that in. It'd be wonderful to fill them all and have a perfect smile and a mouthful of perfect teeth. But do I need to? No. My bite is in a good place. My front teeth are pretty well aligned. Once I get the whitening done, I'll feel pretty good about my smile. This, like I said, this 1 implant in the front that I think shows, at least sometimes, is the most important. We'll see. We'll see, guys, where we go from here. I'm not going to jump immediately into implants and stuff in this series. I think we are going to end this series. I did want to wait a little bit to film this because I needed to relax a little bit because I was not thrilled about how that appointment went, especially after how long I spent looking forward to it. I mean, that end appointment was the light at the end of the tunnel for 2 years. So having that not go the way I thought it would, that threw me for a loop a little bit. But we're okay. Everything's fine. Braces are off. The teeth are good. The results are good. The retainer situation is annoying, but we're dealing with it. I also hope that this has helped you see the reality of it and see that there are good parts and there will be hard parts, but I do think it's worth it in the end. I am really happy with the results. Again, it's still not perfect, but I think we've done a lot of good work. I think it was worth it. I'm very happy that we are at least done with the braces. It's a relief. It feels good. I know, like I said, I know it's not the end. It's just the end of this part. But we made it. We made it, guys. Did it. Braces on, done, off. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just happy. It feels good. I will check back probably one more time and just let you know what happened with the retainer check. And once they free me from the retainers, that will literally be the end of the road for the orthodontic treatment. At that point, it's just maintaining, and that will be nighttime retainers, and there'll be no more to tell. There'll be nothing left, hopefully, God, hopefully, to this part of the story. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me, guys. I really appreciate you being there with me every step of the way. It's been great to have you to talk to and to share these things with. It has helped me immensely to process and to get through it, you know, from one step to the next, having this to look forward to and having you guys to keep informed. And I hope that it has helped some of you in some way make these decisions for yourself. I hope that it has encouraged someone not to let your age stop you if that's the only thing holding you back. But know that, you know, it's not all fun and games. It's not all peaches and cream. How many more these can we throw in here? There is some work involved, there is some pain involved, and there is some patience and endurance that is required. But like anything else in life that is worth doing, I think that's true. So if you have to put hard work into it, if you have to be patient, if you have to persevere, that probably means you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing. And hopefully your end result will all be worth it. I think mine has been. See you soon, guys. Bye. Hey guys, me again. So there was the crazy tale of the day the braces came off. And as you can see, all's well that ends well. And also had some really good news that I wanted to share with you guys besides that. And that is that the doctor did agree to do the interview. I know I've mentioned to you guys a few times throughout this series that I really wanted to see at the end if the doctor would agree to do an interview for you guys, so that since you had this entire experience from my side the whole time, I thought it might be interesting for all of us to see this experience from his side a little bit as the practitioner and the professional and not the patient. So he did agree to do that interview, and I am so excited to share that with you guys. So that will be the last video for the orthodontic series. So check back for that one more time. All right, guys, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning into this series. Thanks for being here. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I appreciate you all so much, and I wish you all a very happy, healthy dental future.